It's been I've actually been working on trying to get you guys for over a year when Unfinished Business got released, and I've
Wow.
been and so but finally they gave me the green light to say yes, we can schedule you guys. So I'm
Wow.
Good
definitely really
deal.
excited. I'm going to go through Unfinished Business song by song because I've listened. It's probably one of the first albums in many years that I've listened to all tracks, 13 tracks plus the three interludes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I've got my five favorites from it and stuff. So I'll go through that. But before I start, because
Okay.
I'm based in the UK, but most of my audience they're from around the world, so we always like to find out from everyone where they were born and raised, so that we can sort of get a feel as to where everyone's from. Um, we can probably start with you, Keith.
I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana, born and raised, went to Indiana University, currently residing in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. Now, is it true that you were the cousin of Ellery? Because I remember, in the early 80s, when After Seven came out, I was in Nigeria. So when Heat of the Moment came out, it was big in Nigeria. And what we heard, reading Black Beat and Right Tone was, oh yes, we got Babyface's two brothers and L.A. Reid's cousin have come to form a group. So is that true, Keith?
Well, it read very well, right? It's a great story, but totally untrue. Uh, but it was great copy. But no, we're close like family, but not in real life.
Okay. 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 Um, yeah, Kevon, what about you? Where were you born and raised?
I am. I was also born in the city of Indianapolis, Indiana. Born and raised there. Attended Indiana University along with Keith. As a matter of fact, that's where Keith and I first met. And yeah, and Babyface is really my brother.
Okay.
You already knew the question was going.
No, that's true. Daniel, you mentioned you were born and raised in Boston. Oh, sorry, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Well, I was born in New York, but I
New
was raised in Boston or Cambridge, Massachusetts, and
Cambridge.
yeah, went to Berkeley College of Music, and I reside in Atlanta, Georgia.
Reside in Atlanta, yes. And Kevon, I think I've overheard that you are now in Nashville. Is that the case, or?
Oh, wait a minute! I'm scared of you. Ooh, you got your sources together here. Oh my goodness, this is true. I am a resident now in Nashville, Tennessee. I've been there for about close to 15 years. It's crazy.
Wow.
Time goes by. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So,
Mm-hmm.
as I mentioned earlier, I mean, so I was born here in the UK, but in the early 80s, my parents moved to Nigeria, and so I went to boarding school there. Then, in the 90s, 91, I moved to the States. I was in Alabama, and LA, and Wisconsin. But so when I track the group, I track it from three different countries. So
Wow.
in Nigeria, when you guys came out with Heat of the Moment, it was, and I don't know if you guys knew how big that was internationally. I mean, it was big in the States, but in Nigeria, it was a big, massive hit. Um,
Wow.
and as I said, I don't know how the DJs got the track and stuff, but just trying to trace the group and how you guys started. Um, Keith and Kevon, you met in college, you said?
We did.
Yes.
Uh,
Oh,
yeah. We met in a course called what was it? IU Soul Review. It was actually a class that gave us credit for learning theory, some business, and the performance of R&B music. Soul music is what it
wow.
was, and it was started by the teacher, the professor, Dr. Portia K. Maltsby, along with late Dr. Herman Hudson, and they created a curriculum just for that, just for us to get an opportunity to know what it was like, what the industry was like. And so we cut our teeth there. That's where Keith and I first met each other, and had some great experiences there, and still connected to a lot of those people here today, who have had a great impact on how I think we began to kind of find this pathway of music and performance, and really kind of cultivated and nurtured a love for us. There was and what they did is just brought out more of what was already in us. I think is what it was, But that's where we started,
Was it more of a performance school, or was it more of a, like, understanding the industry of the music industry?
Well, this was Indiana University, so the School of Business, Sciences, and so on and so forth. But this was a part of an African American studies. What was part of African American studies, and so they offered this as a course as well.
So at this time, then, was this a time when you guys were even contemplating becoming recording artists, or what was the path for both yourself and Keith at the time?
Yeah.
Well, no, it was no real thought of becoming entertainers in any capacity at that point. It was a class that was offered. You were offered the opportunity to audition to be in the class.
Okay.
So depending upon what you brought talent-wise, whether you played a guitar, played the drums, sing, dance, choreographer, stage hands, there were positions for a variety of students to participate in the class. And so it offered you that taste of honey, because once we put together the show during the first semester of the school year, the second semester was put together a performance with instrumentation, dancing and singing, and then we would go out and we'd sing at some nonprofit organizations, other schools, prisons, universities. So it was an opportunity to get to develop the sense of participating in a show, but it wasn't a real entity. I think after years passed and we were in school together, Kevon, myself, and a couple other guys in Melvin would get together in the summers, and we try to put together some sense of being a group and presenting ourselves to greater Indianapolis area in some singing contests and gong shows, so to speak. But that didn't open up a lane of thought even of being professionals, because it was just too difficult to separate artists from bands. And so that was a difficult issue. But we didn't get to this level until Babyface's success came. And that opened the door for us to have a reality into potentially having a presence as professional artists.
So around what year was this that you guys were in the course doing this?
Watch it. We see where you're going. Watch it, young
No.
man. He's trying to put a clock on it there, Keith. Watch it.
No. Because I was trying to clock the, Babyface with the deal and stuff like that. So just thinking, if you guys didn't even consider or see his success and think, okay, maybe we can do it, and also what was happening in the music industry around the time when you guys were doing your course.
Yeah, but what Face and LA were doing, they were part of a band that had blazed the trail in the only pathway that you could, was being a part of a band entity.
Okay.
And they worked hard. They saw Kenny coming from Cincinnati, and Kenny's bands from Indiana would come to Cincinnati, and the Cincinnati bands would come to Indiana as places where they would travel to go perform their wares. And that's where Kenny met with the guys from the deal. And ultimately that became an entity. What he brought to the table was profoundly a lot of talent. And that opened the door that the deal became something. And then LA and Face took it to another level. So their success opened the door for us. We never saw success in our grasp as students and young graduates, from college. We were just, if something could happen, I know Kevon was passionate about helping his brother become successful. Whatever he could do to make that happen for him, he was willing to do it. But we weren't pressing nobody's button saying, "Hey, give us a shot." We could sing. It wasn't about that.
Yeah.
We were doing our individual things, but it was family. And Kenny knew of our talents. He knew of his brother's talents. But I don't think that was the brain thrust. It was about him and his career and building a career. And then his career got so big and became so successful, he was able to turn around and bless us. And Melvin spoke about that quite eloquently in some of the snippets on my record, Unfinished Business.
Yeah. One of the interludes about the producer, songwriter. Hey everyone, I want to thank you for being part of Halftime Chats. This new update is really about our membership, and I'm really excited to be able to fully launch the membership page. There will be things like full interviews from day one. As soon as the interview drops, you get access to it without any ads on it. There'll be some exclusive member-only videos that will just be some behind-the-scenes stuff and some other things that we will never be broadcast. For some members, you can be able to get actually 2 interviews, because I do have a backlog of almost 7 or 8 interviews that I don't even know when I'm going to be able to broadcast them. So you're able to get at least some of those up front, and some just behind the scenes stuff, because there's a lot of stuff that goes behind the scenes that I have never been able to talk about or release. For everyone else, the videos will still be the same. Over a week or a week and a half or 2 weeks, depending on how long it is. So everything stays the same. The polls stay the same. The community chats, the community stuff stays the same. But I think with the membership stuff, I'm able to add a little bit more and invest a lot more time and energy in really supporting the members. So I do hope you come on that ride with me. I appreciate the support, and this will just help me continue to invest in taking things to the next level. Take care.